good. I'm going to go ahead and call us to order and declare that we have a quorum of 6 members present. We welcome you to this meeting of the College Station Independent School Board. We were elected at large to represent the interest of our community and our state in educating our students. Our mission for our students in this district is success each life, each day, each hour. We adhere to all pertinent laws, policies, and procedures in posting agendas and conducting our meetings. The detailed agenda information was made available to us at least 72 hours in advance, and we have all come to this meeting informed and prepared. We have just completed a workshop meeting where we heard reports and discussed much of the information needed to make decisions in either this meeting or in upcoming meetings. This is a meeting of the 7 trustees, 6 of us tonight, in a public setting rather than a public meeting. As such, public comment is included on the agenda at a specific time and requires us to listen rather than take action so as to abide by the Open Meetings Act. We are pleased that you have taken time this evening to join us. We are very proud of this school district, and we thank you for your interest in and support of our students. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Members of the board, members of the public, we'll begin this meeting as we do all meetings with our pledges of allegiance to the American flag, the Texas flag, and a moment of silence. And leading us in our pledges this evening will be 2 students from Southwood Valley Elementary. And here to introduce her students is the proud principal of Southwood Valley Elementary, Christiana Hamilton. Come on.
So good evening. How's everyone? And I'm excited and I'm very proud to introduce to you Ms. J.C. Cruz and Mr. Willie McMurray. These are 2 wonderful students from Southwood Valley Elementary, and J.C. is a 2nd grader in our dual language program. Her favorite subject is art, and she loves to sing. Willie is a 4th grade student, and his favorite subject is ELA. Imagine that. He is a wonderful writer, and he is a dedicated student. Every evening at the end of the day, when the students are waiting for their buses to come, Willie is sitting down doing his homework every single day while he's waiting on his bus to come. I'm even more so proud of these students because they are 2nd generations for me as an administrator in the district. When I first got started, I had their uncles who played basketball with my son, and both of them can tell you that they hear that my son's name come out of their uncle's mouth all the time. But their grandmothers both were my parents when I first got started in the district. So I am very proud to have them here with me tonight. So Willie, if you would, by the way, Jason said, where's that man, that big man, that brought us that big check? And as soon as you walked out, she said, there he is.
There he is.
Okay, Willie, you would?
Please stand for a moment of silence.
No. For the pledge.
And for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, indivisible.
Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more. Here we go.
Okay. Stay there. Stay there.
I'm not going anywhere.
Item C2 is recognitions, we have a couple of great recognitions signifying some success that we've seen at both of our comprehensive high schools here. The first honoree or first recognition we have tonight is a very special one for A&M Consolidated High School. They were the first ever Into Learning Schools Transforming Learning campus in the state of Texas, and they were named so last summer. We have a very special guest who's with us here today. He's needs no introduction to many of us. He's Dr. Edwin K. Colson, former superintendent of College Station ISD. Eddie is a partner at Into Learning and is a part of the process that awards in these various campuses across the state. And so we're excited to have you and some of the Into Learning staff with us today and to be able to honor Mrs. Gwen Elder and her staff for the great work that they do at A&M Consolidated High School. And I'll leave it to you.
The board, Mr. Harris, members of the board, I'm glad I'm here and not there. And really glad to recognize A&M Consolidated High School tonight. Into Learning started in 2010, and part of Into Learning is the Principals Institute. And so this year we're in cohort 8 of the Principals Institute, and last year we started a Schools Transforming Learning recognition. And as part of that recognition, schools across the state applied to be recognized, and of all the schools that applied, there were 4 high schools that were recognized, and A&M Consolidated High School is one of those schools. A&M Consolidated High School has done tremendous work in our community for many, many years, and they're working hard under Gwen's leadership to really make learning something that sticks with students and meets the needs of students, not just academically, but socially and emotionally, in meeting kids where they are. And so as you think about the work that has to be done in schools and recognizing that school is not just about math and science and social studies, while we want very high academic standards and we have those in CSISD and in other schools, we also recognize that if we're going to really push the envelope in terms of meeting the needs, we have to do some special things for students. And A&M Consolidated High School is certainly doing those things. With the Anchor program that they have started, with the work that they're doing with 9th and 10th grade students, bringing them together in teams, the prep that they do in terms of SAT, the kickoff that they've done with students during the school years are just examples of the work that A&M Consolidated High School does. And so I would like to ask Gwen Elder to come up front, if she would. And while she's coming up, I think there are a lot of A&M Consolidated High School staff here. If you would stand. Thank you. We want to just take the opportunity to recognize Gwen and her staff for the work that you do in making a difference in the lives of students at A&M Consolidated High School and in CSISD. We appreciate the work that you do and challenge you to keep meeting the needs of kids right where they are, and not only the academic needs, but the social and emotional needs that they have, so that they can make a difference in the lives, or make a difference in the communities where they choose to live someday. A&M Consolidated High School has done a great job over the course of the years, and I know will continue to do so. So we're proud of you. Thanks for being a Schools Transforming Learning campus. Thanks for the work that you do on a daily basis to make a difference in the lives of the students. And we're very proud to recognize Consol and hope that someday we recognize other campuses in CSISD that have been through the Principals Institute and have been part of the Into Learning work that we've done. So thank you very much for your work. Gwen, thank you very much for your hard work. I appreciate it.
So we have one other recognition tonight. It's of a lot of folks who were involved in a great deal of hard work over the summer and the fall and even to the winter this last year in 2017. It was a tremendous year of success and, as I said, hard work by the College Station High School football team, the Class 5A Division II state champions. And we are pleased and proud to be able to honor them here today, to give you a certificate and recognize you here in front of your family, friends, and community. And the names and the introductions will be Chuck, because obviously I can't speak, and he'll bring us through. Thanks, Chuck.
Okay, I'm no Rick Hill, but I'm going to give it a try on all these names. So as I call your name, please come forward. Start over there. It will be on your right-hand side. Receive your certificate from Mr. Harris and shake hands. Congratulations, guys. And I'm going in numerical order on the playoff roster. All right. Marquez Perez. Keith Rose. Austin Sosa. Ryan Stapp. Quandre White. Blake Bayless. Tony Taylor. Azarian Fought. Travis Hester. Jordan Bellows. Garrett Draper. Harrison Wellman. Jalen Campbell. Brandon Joseph. Brandon Williams. Justin Moore. Zach Williams. Colby Cashin. Keelan Reed. Spencer Maxwell. Tyler Lucas. Tyler Van Buren. Brendan Olson. EJ Mosley. Day Anderson. Kennedy Honorou. Grant Fairchild. Alan Guerreri. JT Epps. On the all-name team, Zach Sackey. Chris Williams. Zeb Cassins. Trey Barfield. Daniel Tice. Ty Watson. Kevin Timoney. Garrett Stone. Austin Ham. Truce Tumlinson. Noah Miles. Donovan Pyrite. Hayden Goodlett. Nick Zachariah. Matt Rusk. Chris Watson. Davis Wood. Seth Russell. Jack Rivera. Chris Ariola. Logan Flasowski. Eric Pereira. David Hahn. Peyton Blair. Jeremiah Williams. Jacob McKee. Luke Gardner. Xavion Lewis. Anthony Zachariah. Jay Hanneth. Chris Whitley. Austin McHarg. Peyton Hudson. Kiki Anderson. Marquise Conchola. Ben Walls. The coaching staff, head coach Steve Huff. Defensive coordinator Ken Stapp. Offensive coordinator Stoney Pryor. Matt DeBerry. Greg Frazier. Ross Gable. Eddie Hancock. Scott Holder. DeMarcus Jones. Kyle King. Robert Lanier. Chance Locklear. Dwight Mincher. Chad Peavy. And Kyle Walsh. Couple other folks who put in a lot of time that we're also recognizing: the athletic trainers Chelsea Frazier and Ross King.
You know, it's an incredible thing to win a state championship in anything. You have to go through a tremendous amount of hard work and adversity. If you think about when we started this year, we had a hurricane bearing down on the Gulf Coast, and we didn't know if we'd be playing some different people, and in fact, we had to change midstream. We had some really difficult changes that this team had to overcome, and they did so very well when you think about bringing St. Pius in and Austin Westlake. 14-2 and overcoming that type of start has been a tremendous experience and achievement on your part. It doesn't happen without great senior leadership, and you have it. And it doesn't happen without great coaching leadership, and you have that as well. Congratulations to Coach Huff and your entire staff for the hard work and dedication that you show to all of our student athletes. And just congratulations that your hard work has paid off in such a rewarding fashion here with your state championship. But even if you didn't win, you guys are champions. You're building men of character, and you're building people that represent what we hope that College Station High School represents and what College Station ISD represents. So, Steve, I say congratulations and thank you to you and your staff and your entire team. If you'd like to say anything, we'd love to have you.
No problem. Board members and Dr. Ely, Mr. Martindale, Mr. McIntyre, Chuck, getting us here tonight. It's been a great ride this year. I think Dr. Ely said it right. This group, 44 seniors this year is what we had when we started off. Total of 65 we took into the playoffs, but at the same time, I look at what these young men, I can remember when they were seventh graders and seeing these guys the first time coming over to CSMS, talking to them, and there was something special about this group. And last year we got beaten by Cal Allen by a point. A couple of them took it very, very personal that they were going to get back. And so we talked about that, and I said the one thing that was missing from that crew was we need to make sure our leadership was right. And so we started the day after we got back last year and started off season, and they could all attest to this, some of the things we did leadership-wise with these young men, and they never batted an eye. And I think that's one thing to my hat's off to these young men, underclassmen also, but the senior group, the leadership that you all provided this year for this entire football team and for our school. And I think one of the things that marks it, and now we can go into the community, is when we look at all the playoff games this year that were up there. Obviously, we're playing Aledo right there down the road from the stadium. But at the same time, we were the second highest attended football game. Announced crowd was a little over 28,000, and I think that says testaments to our community because it was not just purple there. There was all mixes there of everybody coming to support us. We truly, truly appreciated that. And guys, in front of everybody, I'd like to say I love you and appreciate what you did for this school and this school district this year. Thank you very much.
Mr. Harris, that concludes our recognitions for this evening.
Yeah, now's a good time to leave if you're welcome to stay though if you want.
Thanks, guys. All right, sorry. Anybody else? Mm-hmm. I will.
Did we forget?
Yeah. Brian. Brian.
Do you want to go?
Yes. While everybody's filing out, we did have one glaring omission, and known Brian for a long time, so I'd love to be able to embarrass him even more. But Brian Edwards, also a coach on the coaching staff, does a tremendous job for him, and congratulations for the work that you've put in, Brian, for these kids, and is definitely evident on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'd like to recognize the artwork in the room, and please glance around and enjoy it. It's been provided by students from Forest Ridge Elementary, Pebble Creek Elementary, Southwood Valley Elementary, and College View High School. So thank you, students. Next item is the consent agenda, which is item G, H1, J1, J2, J3, J4, J5, J6, J7, J8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. Does anybody want to remove any of the consent agenda items?
I would move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there, I guess there wouldn't be discussion on that. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The motion carries 6-0. Now for board reports, does anyone have a report or announcement to share?
We, Carol and I were at the DEIC meeting this last week, and they are starting the long and arduous process of going through and making sure that we are looking at our curriculum and instructional assessment. And having sat on this committee for 2 or 3 years now, this is a long process, but one that is highly useful to us as a district in terms of, are we going to make changes going forward, and are we on the right track in different ways? So it was a good number of reports, and it's a process that'll continue, I guess, is over the next couple of months.
Thank you.
And I know you all saw it, but I'm just going to go ahead and say the Birth to 5 Head Start Policy Council approved the College Station Independent School District Birth to 5 Head Start Program Year 2 grant submission for 2018-19 on February 15th, earlier this week.
Thank you.
Or last week.
I actually have one because Mr. Williams is not here, so if I can
Okay.
do that for CSISD Education Foundation. Since our last board meeting, we have had 50 Men Who Could Cook. It was a fabulously successful event, thanks to Teresa Benden and her staff, and the CSISD Education Foundation Board of Directors for their hard work. It looks like before, as everything almost has been counted, that the foundation cleared about $220,000 on just this event. It's tremendous, not just the amount of money that we're able to raise to support our teachers and our students, but just the amount of fun that we have in the community. It was a great night, as it continues to be one of the signature events in this town, especially over the winter months. We want to say special thanks to our celebrity chefs who cooked, to our sponsors who underwrote the event, and to our numerous volunteers who made everything go off smoothly and without a hitch. So, thank you.
Great. Any other board reports? Okay, the superintendent report.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I was going to talk about an upcoming event tonight. It may be over now. The Crosstown Showdown in soccer, if you is happening right now. Girls at A&M Consolidated High School and boys over at College Station High School. At least I think I am. It is happening. I don't know about Lightning. So at any rate, so all 4 of those teams are doing tremendous this year. So if you have time and you're properly attired, please go out and support them after this meeting. Want to talk about something new that we're doing in the school district this year on March the 8th. That's a Thursday. At our elementary schools in College Station ISD on Thursday, March the 8th, we're going to have future CSISD family welcome night. We're asking those in the community who may be coming to us, they just moved here, or maybe they're entering the pre-K or kindergarten or first grade for the first time, or they're considering us with as another option for schooling, maybe somewhere different than they've been in the past, to come in and see what's going on in our CSISD elementary schools. There are fabulous things going on in our campuses, in our schools, from the tremendous staff that we have, the access to technology, all the different opportunities we have for kids. And so we're going to show them off for a little bit. So that will be at all 9 of our current elementary campuses at the same time. So if you are interested in coming, please share that. Please share that on social media. Please just get in touch, check the website of your campus in your particular area, and please come and attend. And I would encourage board members to come out and stop by one of those if you can on that night, Thursday, March the 8th.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
That brings us to item E2, receive report related to selection of new school colors and mascots for A&M Consolidated Middle School and College Station Middle School. Dr. Ely.
Mr. President, members of the board, we started talking about the possibility of having a new identity for our current middle schools, A&M Consolidated Middle School and College Station Middle School. We had a large discussion about that over the fall semester and determined that it'd be great for our two middle schools and our two presidents and our two principals who have the exact same shirt on, it looks like. Sorry, I digress. To go about the process and build some real community and excitement around their campuses in much the same way we do when we have a new campus come on board, like we do with Welborn Middle School. So they have gone through the process, and they are here to unveil the new mascots and colors for their two respective middle schools. And I will turn it over to Oliver Hadnot, principal of College Station Middle School, and Jeff Mann, principal of A&M Consolidated Middle School. Gentlemen.
Dr. Ely, school board. I'm going to say one thing. When we first started this process, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be something that the teacher's not going to want to do. They're going to be angry about this process. I'm telling you, it was totally different. Our teachers were on fire every day since we started this process. Do we know yet? Do we know yet? Do we know yet? I said, no, I don't know anything. So we've been waiting for so long to unveil our mascot and our colors tonight. So what happened is, before the holiday break, the teachers were charged with getting 5 mascots and 5 color choices. And when we came back from January, the principals, Mr. Mann and myself, narrowed the choices down to 3 mascots and 2 color choices. So we wouldn't have the same mascot and the colors.
And it was quite the exciting debate over who was going to get what, because we had some mutual selections there, but we worked it out. We came back the second week of January after Christmas break, and then we put it out to the students for their voice and their choice. And I know on our end it was unanimous in the decisions that were made. I don't know on your end. I wasn't there for that, but I know the kids were very excited. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, and then, I thought you were going to, it's open mic. I thought you were going to say something. And then Chuck took everything to CC Creations, and they came up with the mascot logo choices. And we worked through those iterations a couple of times, and they turned out really well.
And by the way, I didn't know there were so many mythological animals in this world.
All right. So are you ready?
So here we go.
There's AMCMS.
All right.
And
there's CSMS.
Nice. Royal blue.
And there's the district.
So, board, before you have any questions or comments, I would like to just single out CC Creations and thank them for their work on this. They worked through all the logos, and they actually worked through the Welborn Warhawks logo already. But as the gentleman said, worked through various different iterations of those. They did all of that for free for us. And also, they have gone for our younger schools, our intermediates and elementary schools, for those who had older marks. They have worked with the campuses to help freshen up those marks as well. So now we have good quality, print-worthy marks and professionally done, and we just appreciate their work with us and doing that for no charge for College Station ISD. And with that, we'd love any questions and comments you may have.
I'd like to also thank Chuck Glenn Winkle, who worked with us tirelessly trying to get these logos just right, because I know he came to me 5 times before we got it right. We appreciate you, Chuck. Thank you.
Yes, thank you both very much. Anybody have questions? Great, that's exciting. This item F, hearing of citizens. Do we have any cards?
I do not.
Okay. Are we all the way to K1? Receive report related to College Station ISD Safety and Security Program. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. Every 3 years, we go through and highlight one of our programs that we do in College Station ISD, whether it's gifted and talented or bilingual education or a professional development program. Just in happenstance, it was the 3-year cycle this month for safety and security come up on the agenda. And Mr. John Hall is our Executive Director for Facilities, and part of his role in the Facilities Department is overseeing the safety and security. We do a tremendous amount to keep our schools safe, from cooperation with other local agencies, to staffing, to building design, to emergency operations planning, drill, after-action reviews. A tremendous amount goes into that, and Mr. Hall and his department oversees all of that to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. John's going to talk us through kind of what we do in regards to that and have done for a number of years in regards to safety and security, and we'd love to answer any questions that you have at the end and anytime throughout the presentation. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Dr. Ely, Mr. Harris, members of the board. Before I get started, I would like to just say that our hearts and prayers go out to the families and community of Parkland, Florida, who have recently experienced the tragedy of yet another tragic mass shooting event. We find ourselves humbled and rededicated to the work of safety and security in CSISD. So with that, I'll get started with my presentation and say that what I'm going to cover tonight is we've got the major goals and activities of the program. I'll be going over a brief description of the program, including scope, budget, and staffing. We'll hear a little bit of performance data on how we did this past year, and I'll close up with some program challenges and needs. So the way we process safety and security within CSISD is we break this down into two general categories. So I'm going to cover one and then the other. First of all is general safety and security, excuse me, which is basically our everyday processes to ensure all is safe, secure, and healthy in our school environments. It's what we do every day to just make sure that we have a good, healthy environment and that our processes keep our students and staff well protected. And then we have the other category, and that's when it goes down ugly, the emergency operations. That's being prepared for the unexpected emergency situations that threaten our health and well-being. So the first portion I'll be covering the general safety and security. And our major goal really for the general safety and security side is to create and maintain a safe, secure, and healthy environment for our schools and facilities. We have lots of different activities and program scope that helps us along that path. Some of the major activities I've got listed here include utilizing a hall pass system for visitor control. That's the one where if you come up to a school, you have to check in with your photo ID to make sure that you're checked against a sex offender database, to make sure that we're very carefully controlling who's walking around in our schools and having access to our students and staff. We've also taken a lot of steps in our new construction and retrofitted some old buildings with installing new public address systems that were getting a little old and rickety, and also we've installed quite a few camera systems around the school district to help us out with that as well. We've had a school messenger quick tip system for anonymous tips in place for many years, and that's worked very well. In fact, just recently, for the last few days, we've picked up a few that have helped us out tremendously with our general safety. And then finally, I'll say our building of new security vestibules. I'm glad to now report that all campuses now have working security vestibules. So every campus has been picked up, including the old ones, and all of our new ones include this as well. So really for general safety and security, it's hard to define the program scope because it's basically covers everything we do. It's district-wide. Every activity in every location on every campus is processed through the filter of safety security. So the program scope is, I'm going to say, pretty wide and broad when we consider anything that we do. Drilling down just a little bit, though, we have made some adjustments in the last year. One notable change is we're using school resource deputies through the Brazos County Sheriff's Office now. And so we now have school resource deputies in each of our existing high schools and middle schools, including Consol High School, College Station High School, College View High School, A&M Consolidated Middle School, and College Station Middle School. And I did put this in red because we've just been approved And I've authorized Brazos County Sheriff's Office to go ahead to start the process of hiring our SRD for Welborn Middle School that'll be opening up this fall as well. So we're going to have 6 total SRDs. A couple of other things we're doing with Brazos County Sheriff's Office is we've had to adjust a few of our procedures as we've gone through the year for interviewing, searches, arrests, working with the district attorney. We've had to do a little bit of fine tuning on their side, a little bit of fine tuning on our side. As you might imagine, there were some slight differences in processing for the way we used to do it with College Station Police Department, but it's been a pretty smooth transition. No major issues to comment on as far as that goes. One of the programs that Brazos County Sheriff's Office has brought to the table that we haven't gone live with yet, but we're about to, is something called Campus P3. And what this is another anonymous tip application. What this does is it opens up a little bit, makes it a little more user-friendly for using cell phones, computers, and it's a little cleaner platform than the Quick Tip program for keeping our staff on the campuses tuned in as well, and they'll be checking those daily. So we just have a few more people to get trained up before we go live with that. We are also going through a process we're getting our techies to talk to their techies so that we can get access to our camera system so that they're at the Brazos County Sheriff's Office. They can pull up all of our campuses on camera for any activity. If we were to have an active shooter scenario on any of our campuses, they could pull that up and assist us in real time with cameras in their control center, which is a really great capability. We're very excited about getting that up and running. And finally, they're going to be helping us out pick up our emergency radio licensing that has previously been processed through the City of College Station. We're going to be transferring that over to the Brazos County Sheriff's Office as well. So you can see the Brazos County Sheriff's Office has helped us out quite a bit this year during this transition. Now I'm going to get on to the other half of the presentation, which is about emergency operations. This is when big ugly things happen in a hurry and we all have to hit the ground running and take care of business. Our major goal for emergency operations is to be prepared for emergency situations and know what to do when they happen. That's pretty general in nature, that major goal, and it covers so many different things. The big part of that is covered through several major activities that are all included in a big binder, big document that we refer to as the EOP. That's our Emergency Operations Plan. And what we've got is for every campus, every district facility, we have a big red binder full of all of this emergency response information. It's all specific to that campus or facility. For instance, gas valves or the contact information, who exactly is on the safety team, and all of the pertinent information for that particular campus is all listed in the EOP. The EOP covers a broad range of emergency situations and how to respond accordingly. Basically, it's designed to give you some guidance no matter what happens. And no matter what falls into all kinds of categories like inclement weather. You could have tornadoes, hurricanes, armed intruder situations, active shooter scenarios. We've heard about that a lot on the news recently. Medical situations, if someone's having a heart attack or other medical situation, we know and have all of that addressed, as well as emergency notifications with contact information for all sorts of people to come running to help them out, whether that's medical, police, fire department, on and on. And the way this EOP document is full of just an overwhelming amount of information. We wouldn't expect anybody, of course, to be able to have all of that memorized, although our safety teams do a great job of going through that. But really the way we make this come home and real for our students and staff is through the drills. We drill over and over and over. We keep all of those very carefully logged and tracked within our EOP. But our safety teams, our principals are very, very well tuned into the different drills. I've got them listed off here, and exactly what would take to to start those and commence those. For instance, we have evacuation. That's pretty obvious. You know, if you have a fire, fire alarms start going off, everybody automatically knows to evacuate the building. We have other ones that are not so well known. For instance, site evacuation. You know, if you did have a building fire that was so bad that it was obviously no one was going to be coming back into the building, you'd want to evacuate out all the way to another site, and we've got all of those identified. Some of them are just a few blocks away. We'll take all of our students there, and Chrissy Hester can then help us out with the parent reunification process. We've got a whole process for that. Reverse evacuation, you know, if we were to have like a chemical spill close to a school somewhere, we'd want all of our students inside the building so that they'd be breathing, you know, safe air. Lockdown, of course, is, you know, I think we're pretty familiar with that one. That's, generally speaking, the active shooter scenarios. Duck and cover, you know, when you have an imminent tornado right on top of a building, we go into duck and cover. And occasionally we have a safe shelter in place. You know, we've been notified even by College Station Police Department when we need to go into some safe shelter in place if we have some dangerous people out close by to a campus or something that they're trying to find. So. A couple other things we do within our emergency operations. We have created evacuation bags for each campus. So when we do have, you know, the whole of the school is dumping out into the parking lots and everywhere, then we do have some evacuation bags that are some staff members will take out just to provide a little water, first aid kit if somebody scrapes a knee or something trying to get out of the building in a hurry. Flashlights. We've included candy in case of diabetic situation, and our safety teams are also encouraged to add anything that they might feel that they need to these evac bags. But that's helped out some too. Additional program scope items that we have for our emergency operations include safety inspections each year for fire alarm systems, fire sprinkler systems, and fire extinguishers. We check all of those out very carefully. Check to make sure that our inspection tags are up to date and that everything's operating properly. If we have anything that's not meeting code or not operating properly, we make sure to note that and fix those right away. In addition to that, we have College Station Fire Department. They can come by at the end of each summer and inspect all of our schools, all of our kitchens for safety, mostly for fire sprinkler systems and fire alarm systems as well. And we even have the insurance guys get in the game. They come and take a look at our fire sprinkler systems as well for our ability to protect our property even. So that's a lot of set of eyes on our schools and our systems to make sure we've got it right. Occasionally, within emergency operations, we have an actual emergency to respond to, and it's not just drills. I like to put this little picture in because a couple of years ago, we actually had an active fire over at A&M Consolidated High School. We had a student had started a fire in a trash can in one of our restrooms, and kudos to Gwen Elder and the whole Consol High School staff. The evacuation went perfectly. We got everyone out very quickly, safely. Accountability was spot on. They knew exactly who was not there and why. And we really were complimented by College Station Fire Department on how efficiently we processed that. And by the way, we were able to get everyone back into class within 2 hours. So that was a success story for an actual emergency that we had to respond to. Just briefly touching on budget, our school resource deputies and their whole program. We have a budget within our business office of $561,803 a year to cover salaries, training, and additional equipment they might need, maintenance on their vehicles. We have hall pass registration that covers our hall pass requirements for the entire district for $5,600 a year. We've got a small budget for my group for facilities that's strictly for safety and security, just for additional signage we might have to replace, safety stickers on doors, that sort of thing, new evac bags, stuff like that. For staffing, really, what I like to say is every individual in the entire school district is responsible for participation in safety and security. It's just too critically important to let anybody off the hook on this one. Although we do have people that are more specifically assigned on our safety teams on our campuses and across the district. We do have specific SRDs, of course, that are assigned to this task for each of our high school and middle school campuses. So for our performance data for this past year, as you may recall, we had a spring of 2017, we had a safety and security audit where we have an independent third party comes in, does a very, very thorough safety audit of all of our processes across the whole school district, every campus. And I would like to say that I'm not allowed to give the specifics of the results for our safety audit in open meeting because we don't want that information getting into the hands of anybody who might want to do us harm. But the results were very positive. We scored very, very high on our security audit. The staff was well prepared. The drills were being performed very well, documented correctly, all kinds of different looks, different spins on the drills, which is exactly what you want everyone doing. So we got very high marks for everything there. We just had very few minor comments on some signage and a couple of things that we have already addressed and corrected since then. Some other things we've done in the past year is we have processed the transition from College Station Police Department to Brazos County Sheriff's Office for we used to have SROs, now we have SRDs, and that's been fairly smooth. Like I mentioned earlier, just a little bit, we've had a couple of coordination items to process, but it's been very minor in scope. We've clarified that with Brazos County Sheriff's Office assistants. We put out a paper so that the principals could tune into that a little bit better, and it's worked out very, very well. And really, just generally speaking, for the entire past year, we've had no significant security problems to note whatsoever. So to finish up with some program challenges and needs, I'll just say that the big challenge is really balancing safety and security with openness and warmth for our school campuses. And what I mean by that is, we could, a lot of people talk about, especially in light of mass shootings, the incidents like that we all see on the news, is could we be a harder target? Could we stiffen up our resolve and our automatic locks on our doors and everything? And the answer to that is yes, we can. Many years ago, we made a conscious decision to work the balance that we did with our security vestibules, so that we wouldn't get into the I'll call it the minimum security prison feel, getting in and out of a school, and yet retain being open and warm for our guests. So we feel like we've got a good balance on that right now, but of course we're going to continue to monitor that, and we'll probably be having some conversations with our district safety team here within the next couple of weeks and kind of get some feedback from our staff on that as well. The other program challenge would be keeping up with technology, which is always a challenge across the board for everything we do, but specifically keeping up with technology to give us the best communications we possibly can with our emergency responders. And we feel like David Hutchison, our Director of Technology, does a great job in supporting us with that. And in fact, as I mentioned earlier, we're just on the cusp of making Brazos County Sheriff's Office have access to all of our security cameras across the district, which is going to be a big, big bonus. It's going to give us a big advantage in this game. And so really, I'll say the final program challenge and need, which is usually the biggest challenge, and that is maintaining our focus on how important safety really is. It's easy to become lackadaisical a little bit about this, but in particular when you see it splashed around on the news and how horrible these situations can be across the country, I think we're all seeing that really is a super important thing that we have to keep just a laser focus on, and our safety teams across the district are doing an outstanding job with that. So with that, that concludes my formal presentation. I'd like to field any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you for that. I know in these times, it definitely, safety and security rises to the front of everyone's thoughts. And it's good to be reminded that this is not something that the district just pays attention to when a story makes the news, that it's something that is an ongoing process, that the district has security in mind and has measures in place to deal with whatever the emergency may be or whatever the issue might be, and that there is a review process and an evaluation process, and then changes are made if needed. And I'm anxious to hear what you all think and say and want to talk about.
If it's all right, I'd just like to address
Sure.
kind of just where we are today in light of what happened last week in Florida and, of course, over the weekend. And you're right, Mr. Harrison, this is something that we think about 365 days a year, not just when a tragedy happens, but when a tragedy happens, we stop and we evaluate our processes and we have real conversations, both at the district level, and we've had that in the superintendent's cabinet, and we'll have that with the district safety team, and we have it on our campuses as well, because how we react to particular situations on a campus somewhat is determined by the layout of the campus. So there are certain things are done differently based on the layout of the facility. But there's things that are overall objectives that we try to do in these types of situations. So we are pausing and thinking. We learn something whenever there are these tragic situations and different things happen. There's an opportunity for us to learn something and improve our processes, and certainly pay attention to that as a school district and as a community. I'd like to visit just a little bit about what happened over the weekend. We did have one of our high school students who made a threat against the school, and I want to highlight the thing that worked out the right way. And what happened is we had a student, or actually a few students, who saw that on social media, had a good enough relationship with a school employee to tell the school employee, who contacted our administration. That's what we really hope that we get out of this, that if it's a student, if it's a parent, if it's a faculty member, if it's a custodian, if you see something, that you say something to us so that we know. And that's indeed what happened. I want to commend both College Station Police Department and the Brazos County Sheriff's Office for jumping on this as quickly as they did. And I want to say, from the vantage point of the school district, we take this extremely seriously. And from the vantage point of our local law enforcement, they take this very seriously. And so we are working through the process there with this student. Can't really comment on that because we're working through the legal process, and we'll be working through school process. But I guess I want to say to the people who are here, or people who are listening, whenever you're watching this, that we all need to remember that words have consequences, and actions also have consequences. And that as a school district, we're going to make sure that we do what we need to keep our staff and our students safe. And if we hear something, we will give it over to the authorities, and the authorities will investigate that. And where those end up will be up to the authorities and what the facts of each individual matter are. But there's some things that you can joke about. This isn't one of them. And I think we all know that, but I think it's good to pause and talk about that, especially as we work with kids from 3 years old up to 18, 19 even. Some of our kids stay with us to 21 years old. So our folks need to know that it's that words matter, and that we take this seriously. So I do applaud Mr. Hall and the work that he does leading all of our district employees in making sure we keep our campuses safe. I applaud our faculty and staff who are developing positive, appropriate relationships with our students so that they feel comfortable in talking to them when they see something that makes them nervous. And please know that we're going to continue to look at lessons that we can learn and address things in the most appropriate manner moving forward.
I just want to say thank you to Mr. Hall and to the administration. I've had a family member on a campus for 27 years in this district, and over that 27 years, unfortunately, there have been cases of security or someone trying to do something harmful, or there's an emergency of some sort, or any of those things. I think what impresses me most, and and I've said this several times over the weekend, is that you always are quick to respond, and I feel really, really good about saying that in every situation that I've either seen or heard, it's always been very quick and very swift response to and actions taken to correct the situation. You know, unfortunately, you cannot control everything that goes on in a campus. You just can't, and there's no way to control everything. But when you do have a situation, you know, I had a student on campus when the fire broke out, and I will tell you that the thing that I heard most was how quickly the kids knew that there was a fire, and how quickly they got out and the teachers responded, and the fact that Dr. Ely was there before the fire department. I just kept thinking that was so impressive that you were there that quick, that you responded that quickly. There was just so many different situations over time with illness or just an emergency situation, and the district is so good to respond. And I want to tell parents that I really do, sitting from this seat, feel that this district is doing everything possible to keep your students safe. If there's something else they can do, I don't know what it is, but these teachers care about these kids. You've got eyes. You know, one of the things that when we were talking with the sheriff's department, it's not just the sheriff's department that's taking care of these kids, it's these students, these teachers and these principals. And I know they take this very seriously and they treat these kids as their own. So I just want to say that your children are safe with these people, and they care about them and they love them, and you should feel good about where they are during the day.
One of the things I think, knowing moving forward that we will have continuing opportunities to talk about these issues, and for things like the Parkland incident in Florida, those discussions, it quite frankly is not appropriate for us to have those in a public setting because they can then be counterproductive. So those are things that are addressed and will continue to be addressed. And I want the members of the community that are here to know that. But it's the type of issue that we just can't address publicly because then it can impact the effectiveness of measures we might put into place. But do know that that is something of which we are mindful, and something that we all take quite seriously, and I know the administration does as well. Any other comments, questions? Okay, well then with that, I believe we are adjourned.